Family histories. They're not just dusty old photo albums, they're treasure troves of resilience and inspiration. Today, we're unearthing the remarkable story of Gustavo Gonzalez Villavicencio, a man whose journey from a tiny Mexican village to becoming an electrician is redefining what it means to leave a legacy.
Oh, that sounds fascinating. I'm always intrigued by stories that reveal the extraordinary in seemingly ordinary lives. What makes Gustavo's story so special?
Well, it's a tale that spans generations and geographies. Gustavo was born in 1902 in San Jose de Magdalena, a remote town in Baja California Sur, Mexico. Now picture this, a landscape dotted with cacti surrounded by the imposing Sierra de la Giganta mountains. It's a place where survival itself was a daily challenge.
Hmm, that must have been quite a harsh environment to grow up in. How did Gustavo's family manage in those conditions?
You know, that's exactly what makes this story so compelling. Gustavo was the youngest of 11 children born to a blacksmith father and a devoted mother. Imagine growing up in a house filled with the sounds of metal being forged and the warmth of a large, loving family. It's like a microcosm of the resilience that defined that entire community.
11 children. That's quite a full house. I'm curious, did Gustavo follow in his father's footsteps as a blacksmith?
Ah, that's where things get interesting. See, Gustavo actually became an electrician later in life. It's a fascinating transition that really highlights how he adapted to changing times while still carrying the work ethic he learned from his father. You know, it's like he bridged two worlds, the traditional craftsmanship of blacksmithing and the modern technology of electricity.
That's exactly the kind of detail that makes these personal histories so captivating. It really illustrates how one generation's experiences can shape the next. Did Gustavo maintain any connections to his roots in San Jose de Magdalena?
Well, that's a great question. While we don't have all the specifics, we do know that Gustavo held on to a lifelong love for music. Now, this passion was likely nurtured in the communal atmosphere of his hometown. You can almost imagine evenings filled with local music, right? Guitars strumming, people singing after a long day's work. It's a beautiful thread connecting his past to his present.
Music has such a powerful way of keeping us connected to our roots. It's wonderful that Gustavo carried that with him throughout his life. How did his early experiences in San Jose de Magdalena influence his later years?
So that's where things get really interesting. Gustavo's early life in that harsh, isolated environment instilled in him a deep sense of resilience and adaptability. These qualities served him well as he navigated the challenges of adult life, moving to different cities and camps, and transitioning into a new career as an electrician. It's like he carried the spirit of San Jose de Magdalena with him wherever he went.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It really highlights how our early experiences can shape us in profound ways. Do we know anything about how Gustavo's children and grandchildren were influenced by his life and experiences?
You know, that's a great point to bring up. While we don't have detailed information about all of Gustavo's descendants, we do know that his daughters, Guadalupe and Francisca Gonzalez Morales, played a crucial role in preserving his story. Their dedication to sharing their father's memories made this narrative possible. It's a testament to the lasting impact Gustavo had on his family.
Well, that's really touching. It shows how the impact of one life can ripple outward, affecting not just immediate family, but future generations. What do you think is the most important takeaway from Gustavo's story?
That's a thought-provoking question. I'd say the key takeaway is that every life, no matter how seemingly ordinary, has the power to inspire and teach future generations. Gustavo's journey from a small, dusty town to becoming an electrician and a loving father shows us the power of resilience, adaptability, and unwavering love for family. It reminds us that our roots shape us, but they don't define our limits.
That's beautifully put. It's a reminder for all of us to appreciate the stories of our own families and communities and to recognize the strength and wisdom that can be found in even the most humble of beginnings.
Absolutely. And you know, that's exactly why we share stories like Gustavo's. They encourage us to look at our own family histories with fresh eyes. So, for our listeners who might be inspired to explore their own family stories, here's a tip. Start with conversations. Talk to your oldest living relatives. Ask them about their childhoods, their parents, and the stories they remember. You might be surprised at the wealth of information and wisdom they have to share.
Those are excellent suggestions. It's amazing how much we can learn just by asking questions and listening to the stories our family members have to tell.
Right, and it's not just about dates and places. It's about understanding the experiences, values, and lessons that have been passed down through generations. So, as we wrap up our discussion on Gustavo Gonzalez Villavicencio, let's remember that every life is a tapestry of experiences, challenges, and triumphs, worthy of being remembered and celebrated.
Well said. And to our listeners, we encourage you to explore your own family histories. You never know what inspiring stories and valuable lessons you might uncover.
Exactly. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep celebrating the extraordinary in the ordinary. Who knows? The next inspiring story we share might be from one of our listeners who discovered something amazing in their own family history. Thanks for tuning in to Gen FM.